Hi, I'm Elena, and recently the IRS updated their 2024 tax bracket. So let's talk about it. So I know people are like, explain this in English. I don't get it. So the main reason why the IRS makes adjustments to the tax brackets in this case is just because of inflation. They wanted to make an adjustment, and so they did about a 5% adjustment. So what does that mean for you? Since there was a 5% adjustment, think about it this way. The average raise in 2023 in the US was about 3.8%. So if you are making more, sometimes you get knocked into the next tax bracket. In this case, most people will not be knocked into the next tax bracket. We can't guarantee it for everyone because everyone makes different amounts, but for the majority, you should stay in the same tax bracket based off the raise that you received in 2023. Now, if your raise was higher, I'm sorry, but congratulations to you. Now, the tax rates did remain the same. The tax rates range from 10% all the way to a 37%. And I will put what those tax rates are here so you can see the different tax rates if you don't get it, but we'll also talk about it when we talk about the income that you can earn in those different tax rates. Another thing that I want to mention before we even get started is that they also increase the standard deduction for 2024. So in 2024, the standard deductions for singles has increased to $14,600, which is about a $750 increase from 2023. And then for married filing jointly, it has increased to $29,200, which is about a $1,500 increase. And before you start complaining saying, oh, why is the married filing jointly increase higher? What you have to understand is the married filing jointly increase is $750, the singles increase, times 2. Because basically married filing jointly is 2 people. A lot of people don't realize that in most of the tax brackets, the amount for the married filing jointly is just the singles amount times 2. And I'm going to say for most of them because it's not for all of them. So let's get into these new tax brackets for 2024. I also want to mention that this is a good time to think about it and talk about it because we're getting ready to go into 2024. You don't want any surprises when you actually file your taxes for 2024 in 2025. So these are things that you should keep in mind. Make sure you try to understand, and I will try to keep it as simple as possible. But if you have questions about it, definitely drop them below. Okay, so the lowest rate, as mentioned before, is 10%. So if you are single and you make below $11,600, or married filing jointly and you make below $23,200, then your tax rate will be 10%. Now, for singles making over $11,600 but less than $47,150, then your tax bracket is going to be 12%. And for married filing jointly, if you make $23,200 but less than $94,300, then you will be in the 12% tax bracket. Now, once you make over that $47,150 as a single and the $94,300 as married filing jointly, then your tax bracket moves up to 22%, and it will stay in the 22% range. Now, in order to move into the next percentage, which is 24%, as a single, you would have to make over $100,525. And for married filing jointly, you would have to make $201,050. Okay? So in those areas, you will be at 24%. Okay? In that income range, you will be at 24%. Now, as a single, once you make over, And when I say single, this is how you file your taxes. And you should be filing your taxes based off of your true tax bracket. So as a single, if you make over $191,950, then you will be taxed at 32%. And for married filing jointly, it will be $383,900. That puts you in the 32% range. For singles making over $243,725 and married filing jointly making over $487,450, you will be in the 35% tax bracket. And then if you make as a single an income greater than $609,350 as a single, and then $731,200 as married filing jointly, then you will be in the 37% tax bracket. So for some of my people who watch, you are probably in the head of household range. I will just put those up here. So just take a screenshot of what those ranges are, just so the video doesn't become overly long. But typically head of household falls between single and married filing jointly when it comes to their income range for the tax brackets. Now, one thing I want to bring to your attention, because people think that with these tax brackets, right, it's like, oh, I make this much, I multiply it by that percentage, and that's the amount of taxes. And that's not how it works. Taxes is a pay-as-you-go system. So, for example, if you make $50,000 a year, okay? And let's say you're single, okay? We're just gonna go with being single just to make it simple. So here's what the difference looks like, okay? So if you just took that $50,000 and multiplied it by 22%, that is $11,000 in taxes. But that is not how it works. As I have on the screen here, you can see that the first $11,600 is going to be $1,160. And then the $35,549 that you make, that's the difference between the $11,601 and the $47,150 will be taxed at that 12%. And that would be $4,266. And then the difference between that $47,151 and that $50,000 is $2,849. And that would be taxed at 22%. So that would be $627. So if you add all of those together, your total tax would be approximately $6,053. And I did a little rounding there, so we're gonna do approximates to make it easy. So that's a difference in almost $5,000 in taxes. So you want to make sure you understand that properly, especially for my freelancers out there who are not having taxes withheld from their freelance gigs where you get like a 1099. Or I do know there's some employers out there that they hire as 1099. So that's just for you to understand how to appropriately calculate your taxes. But overall, what's important for you to understand is that you can earn a little bit more income. Well, don't put limits on your income, but just know when you earn a little bit more, you get your raises, most of you will be able to stay in the same tax bracket and not necessarily be penalized by going into the next tax bracket. Another adjustment that has been made for 2024 is that in 2024, the maximum earned income credit for taxpayers with 3 children or more has increased by $400 and it's now $7,830. So if that's something that's important to you, then definitely keep that in mind. But also, there are additional updates that they made, and I will put the link below so you can actually check it out if it's something you're interested in. I know most people don't really pay attention to that, but if it's something you're interested in, check it out below. And if there are any money topics that you want me to talk about, then drop them also in the comments below so I can add them to a list of the things that you want me to do a video on. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If this video was helpful for you, you and you know it'll be helpful for someone else, then go ahead and like it and share it with your friends. And make sure you check out this video next.